Oh man, gotta love those beats. Brings me back to the old days. What's up, everybody? This is DJ Live with my very own first podcast, Teal Grit. And I got a really special guest for this first podcast. My boy Mando, DJ Hyph. We go way back, so it's gonna be a real fun one. So I got him on the line right now. I'm gonna bring him up and we'll get started. All right, Mando.
Hey, what's going on?
What's up?
Live? What's happening, man?
Live in the flesh.
Live in the flesh. There you go. That's that double hitter right there.
So, Mando, what's going on, man? How you doing?
Hanging in this shelter in place, dude. You know, adjusting to the new life and stuff. But besides that, man, blessed.
Yeah, how are you taking all this Corona stuff, just for people that don't know what's going on at this right moment?
Well, I mean, I think it's a hard one even to explain. I mean that this spread of the virus that's just been going on. I mean, and just kind of like how society's just shut down and everybody's staying home and trying to stop the spread. You know, it's I guess it's a good thing, and you know, we should all look out for each other. But it's definitely just something like, you know, odd to like be living through, right? I mean, it's definitely a weird time in history for sure.
Yeah, I mean, think about it. I don't even think that's something that I could even contemplate that would happen, you know, is that we would go through something like this. Never would I thought. I mean, if anything, I would have thought that maybe some kind of war would be closer to going through some pandemic, you know?
Right, yeah.
I don't know. It doesn't seem real.
Well, it seems like there's something like I don't know, for it to just like end, you know, when they say what they say, like the end of April. I mean, I can't see it just ending and just everything returning back to normal. You know, I feel like, I don't think anything's going to be normal after this, man. Or at least what we thought was normal. I mean, it's gonna definitely change up.
Well, yeah, I've heard that it's not really going to be the same even after all of this is over. Even if the government or the president decides to say, "Hey, you guys can go out and, you know, do what you guys are doing," it's not going to be the same. Like, people are still going to have that social distancing, right? And all that, you know.
They're going to be hesitant to go around certain people. Do you think there's going to be some discrimination going on and stuff?
Oh man, I could already see it. It's gonna It's gonna go back to the race, to, you know, to your status, all this.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
which is pretty crazy, dude. I mean, it sucks. Somebody said it's the best time to be alive, but I mean, it's one of those crazy times where it's just like, well, you know, still one of the better times in history. I was like, well, I guess if you look at it that way, right? I mean, we've definitely progressed and gone, you know,
I guess
pretty far.
I don't know.
Yeah, but it's a mess. It's honestly just a mess. But you can only do so much, and just got to stay busy, you know, and keep moving and try to be as productive as you can, I guess. You know?
Yeah. But enough of that Corona for now. Let's talk about other things, because I want to introduce people to some of our stories that we have and how we got to know each other and what we've done in the past. You know, I think we have some really cool stories to tell, but I
Right.
don't know if you
Oh
want to
man.
touch up on like how
Yeah.
we met or something like that.
Well, absolutely. I think it was back. Man, I want to say like early 2000s. Man, it must have been like 2006, 2007, maybe even a little sooner. How did we get in? We got in because, well, I met you through one of our other mutual friends that he was, he was trying to do promotions and stuff like that, and trying to get like,
Who's this? Who are you talking about?
oh, yeah, we're talking about Abraham.
Ah, Turtle. Shout out
Yeah,
to Turtle.
Turtle.
I
Yeah, there
just
you go.
talked to him the other day. I said
Did
what's
you
up on
really?
Facebook. Yeah.
Good. Okay. Yeah. Well, it was him, man.
Damn.
Me and him, and there was a couple other guys that we would always just meet up and start messing around with some vinyls and start messing around with music, and one thing kind of led to another. We were buying speakers, buying turntables, mixers. I mean, at that time we were still doing vinyls. I remember hauling
Oh yeah.
crates around with huge selections of just some pretty cool fucking music. I mean, I remember those Lethal Weapons.
Yeah.
Um, what other ones were there? There were some other pretty cool little mix ones that you could always pick up, man.
12
But
inch. Isn't there another
yeah,
one called 12 inch? And
yeah, something like that.
there's a bunch.
Man, yeah, dude, there was so much. But yeah, man, and just from moving into that realm of music and all that, that's where we came across. When I met you, you were doing the music production on the music production side, and you were on the like doing graphics. So you were on the creating side. So it was
Yeah.
pretty cool when we met. I was like, fuck, like you were the first guy that I knew that was actually doing that. So it was like, I think we instantly kind of just clicked off on the friendship, man. We just kind of seen that we were like on the same little hype that was going on.
I
It was
can't
pretty cool,
I
man.
can't recall, but did I meet you before I met Echo, or I can't even remember how that happened.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you know,
And for people that
we
don't
must have.
know,
We must. Yeah.
for people that don't know who Echo is, who is that?
I
That's
don't know how you want to introduce it.
I mean, that's someone that I met through you, I think, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and well, at the time was yeah. Well, I don't know. I don't want to get too personal, but yeah, he was more like family at a time. So
I mean,
so that's how.
yeah, basically, two DJs, right? Were you
Right,
DJing like
exactly.
when he was DJing, or?
So he actually was the one that was starting. Right. Well, he got some turntables and he just started messing with them. One Christmas year,
Hmm.
and yeah, man, he would end up always being at my house, and he ended up leaving them there. And so
Ah,
when he wouldn't be there, and nobody'd be home, I would always just go sneak in, and I just start fucking with the damn records, start messing with the turntables. He had the new marks, those little combo set with the
yeah,
mixer and yeah.
the battle scratch pack or something like
Yeah,
that.
the battle script. Yeah, exactly. So we had that stuff,
Wow.
man. And I think at some point he must have realized that I was fucking with his shit.
Uh huh.
Because then one day he ends up going like, "Hey, man, like, you want to just come inside?" And I was like, "Yeah, yeah, fuck yeah. What's up? What are you doing over here?"
Oh wow.
And then that was pretty much it, dude. That's like how that's how I started.
Yeah.
And like I said, Abraham, our mutual friend, was kind of dabbling in that kind of stuff too. But honestly, dude, on our street where we
Uh,
grew up in our neighborhood, we also had a couple promoters and a couple people that were like pushing these other, uh, what would you call them?
for pushing
They
the
would be
events or what?
yeah, they're like party promoters, event
Oh,
promoters.
are you talking about Lavish Life?
Metal Mouth.
Oh, Metal
No, no,
Mouth.
no, Metal
Metal
Mouth.
Mouth. Yeah, yeah. I remember Metal Mouth.
Yeah, there was like two guys that lived right down the street from like a couple houses down from
Was
Turtle's house.
was it Ruben or Who's the other guy?
I think so. I know Ruben was there all the time. I forgot what was the other dude's name. Honestly, I'm terrible with names. I cannot recall
Well,
anybody.
I feel
But
like I don't know how many DJs there were. It was in Metal Mouth, but I know I think I
well,
knew
there was a
two.
couple, right? There was a couple, but yeah, but I can't say that they
Oh, you
had
know what?
like
I think it's DJ Cali, right?
Cali. Yeah, they had
Yeah,
Cali.
one of them I think was
Was
DJ
Ruben
Cali.
R? Ruben R was Metal Mouth too, right?
Yeah, yeah. I think Ruben R was one. Shout out to Ruben.
Yeah,
Um, yeah. So yeah, that's crazy. I don't even think I remember that they were living near you at that time.
yeah, yeah. Well,
Yeah.
you know, I mean, I'm sure it was their parents' house or something. And I mean,
Yeah.
I seen them growing up. You know, I mean, I was in that neighborhood since I was the age of 5. So, I mean, you're talking about like 10 years by the time I started mixing and actually kind of seeing like what the fuck they were, you know, up to and stuff. So,
What do you remember about that time with when Metal Mouth was out? Because I do remember that
uh,
I would always see their mixtapes, you know, like being
yeah.
promoted and
Oh man, those guys pushed hard, dude. Those
yeah.
guys pushed hard.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of, you know, they pressed a lot of CDs, a lot of made mixtapes, a lot of flyers. They would do a lot of events and stuff like that. Especially that was the height of the, you know, that hyphy movement, man. That was like when it was just cracking off. You know, that was before you know, E40 Tell Me When to Go, you know,
Yeah.
went like nationwide. That was before all of that. This is when it was still kind of just bubbling up, dude. And that
Yeah.
those were the that's like that was like towards the apex of that whole movement, man. And I mean, there was a lot of key players in that. I mean, even also, if you remember Dynasty Fam,
Oh yeah.
Dynasty Fam was another big promoting company or promotion that they were doing stuff too, and they had some solid DJs, man. They had, I think they had who was the one I remember most? I can't recall if Jay Spinoza was Dynasty Fam or not, but I
Oh,
know
okay.
they had some other cats that they were out there. But
Damn.
yeah, man, I mean the warehouse parties, you know, the house parties, the I mean, there was parties everywhere. I mean, there was never a weekend that would go by that like there wouldn't be a party going on. You know, you'd at
Who
least get a couple addresses and something was always going on.
who were the DJs that you looked up to when you started DJing? Like who would you say what made an impact and you know what I mean, like getting into it and getting better?
You know, locally would be Rick Lee.
Yeah.
Definitely Rick Lee. Rick Lee was, you know, I mean, he still holds that spot, man. I mean,
Man, he's been killing it since we know it.
right? I mean, that dude is like, talk about transcend through the decades, man. That dude stayed relevant no matter what. And that's tough,
I
man.
still remember that I would cop CDs from him at the UGMX open mics, I believe.
Dude,
He would,
yeah,
and you know what's so crazy about that is that I would buy, you know, like a few CDs at a time, and then what I would try to do is I would try to see if any of those were searchable online or something, because I was like, these got to be somewhere besides, you know, Rick Lee having them. Like, you know, it can't be that
but you know
exclusive,
what
I
he had
think.
to, yeah, well, you know what it is? I think maybe he just had access to that music through the radio and,
Yeah, I guess.
you know what I mean? And who knows? But
Yeah,
yeah, there
but
was a lot of music that like you didn't even know who they were.
yeah, the point is that there he had music that I could not find anywhere. I was like, where the hell is he getting this music from? Because like these are pretty good songs. Some of them were like even the people that were in the open mics, you know, some of their music
Right,
too. So I get it,
right,
you know, he was making the connections and therefore he
mm,
had the plug on the music. But
right,
it
for
was just
sure.
so crazy that it was such a direct connection. Like he had the plug on all this, and this
On
is the
all the
only way
music,
you could get your hands on this, you know, to play it at the events or parties or whatever.
right? And you know, I do remember like a lot of, you know, like you said, he would sell CDs with like, you know, like 20 songs or something on each CD,
Yeah,
and you would eventually always end up hearing some songs that you would like a couple months down the road will end up hearing it on the radio again,
Yeah,
or
exactly.
for the first time, and you're like, I remember always being like, oh damn, I was like, I have that before it even hit. And, so it was pretty cool, dude. I mean, that guy is such a huge influence in music and just everything here in the Bay Area. I mean, that dude's a legend, a living legend, honestly.
You know what else I remember about Rick Lee is that every time he DJ'd, and of course we were all in the same room when he was there, because, you know, Big Mike would always bring him out, and every time we were there, I would always stare at the way he DJ'd, because, you know, us DJs, we learn from other DJs by watching. So there was always these little things he would do. I'm like, oh shit, that's dope. And I remember that's how I learned how to do the pitch match, you know, with the pitch fader.
Oh yeah.
You know how he moves it up and down real fast, and I was like, why is he doing that?
Try to catch it up, trying to catch it up or slow it down.
He did it in a way that it was just like seamless. Like it didn't even sound like he was changing the pitch.
Right, because sometimes if you go too slow with it, and if you go too extreme, you'll hear it slow down.
Exactly. And I started doing
I know
that,
what you mean.
And I'm just like, holy shit, this is game changer. Like I remember anything that I would get from Rick Lee, I was like, oh man, I got to learn everything he's doing, because he's doing it right. And I mean, who knows how many more years Rick Lee had, you know, when we met him, but I'm sure he's been in the game very long time.
Well, if I'm like remembering correctly, I mean, that dude started from when he was 18, man. Like I remember seeing pictures of him when he was, you know, like in high school, bro. Fucking
I've seen some pictures.
Mixing. Yeah. So that dude's been doing it for a long time, man. I mean, that's straight dedication and persistence, and I mean, that's definitely gotten that road to success where he's at now. You know, definitely.
Did you ever watch any of the DJ Qbert videos? I remember I was obsessed with all the like techniques he would put out.
Yeah.
Like, all these scratch videos. I'm like, fuck, this fucking guy is so dope.
Sick, right? I know. And I did, and I'd always try to follow along, and you know, I couldn't do it, man. Like, and you know what? Honestly, I never challenged myself to like hone in on those type of skills. I'd always focus more on the music selection and just kind of creating like a good environment with the music, and kind of having this like momentum kind of follow through the whole duration, or like the whole party, you know, or event or whatever it was. So, you know, I wish I could do that kind of stuff.
Yeah, honestly, I didn't get too far in the scratching realm of all that stuff. Like I was able to do some decent scratching, but nothing like Qbert or any of these like you know, turntables kind of guys.
Crazy ass cuts, man. I know, dude. I mean, moving that crossfader that fast, you know, it was just
it's a whole different thing. Like I think what we were really good at is obviously throwing some dope ass parties, you know, and that's what people knew us by. Is like these guys that kill it at parties and shit all the time.
Man, I mean, I remember it was like a couple of years straight, like every weekend was like another party, another warehouse, a quinceañera, I don't know, like it would just be like all these like barbecues and stuff, man. I mean,
it was honestly,
there was some epic, right? There was some epic parties, dude, that we ended up throwing that, I mean, like they still baffle me now. Like I'm like, wow, I can't believe that, like we did that. Like, like, you know, I think the one we had talked about a while back ago, the one up, in the hills where we went into the house that was still under construction, right? Yep. That one right there. Yeah. That one right there definitely like stayed with me, just cause like how spontaneous it ended up being, to like the turnaround of how many people came. Yeah. I mean,
but even when Turtle, remember when Turtle had his, AKA Abraham, when he had his spot, man, that was such a, a freaking hub of just partying, and it was nonstop, you know, because
do you remember when Angie slipped and fell and busted her knee open.
Oh shit! You know, it's funny. Like I don't remember exactly, but it kind of sounds a ring in my head, or ring a bell in my head.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. And
Man.
speaking of her, dude, I don't know, have you like kept in contact with her or like any of the men?
Not
No.
Angie. Yeah, not Angie. No, in a minute. I don't think I've heard of her in a minute.
Okay. Yeah, me neither.
But I just
Me neither.
remember, man. I just remember all the shit, like all the parties, all the fights, all
Dude,
the
the fight.
everything, all the madness, just
Bro, I'm
nonstop.
right. I mean, unfortunately, and like, I mean, dude, the loss of life, people died, people getting stabbed, dog. Like,
Yeah.
it was crazy, man. Shootouts. I don't remember if you remember the shootouts that
Oh
were going
yeah,
on.
definitely.
I'm like, dude,
But
yeah,
it's funny that even though it was a dangerous situation to us, it seemed normal. Like I know it's not the right thing to say, but it's like it
right.
happened so much that it was like part of the culture. Like we had to see
No.
someone get stabbed or someone fight or whatever, just to make it seem like it's a real party. I don't know what it was.
Hey, man, we're fortunate enough that it never involved us, dude. You know what I mean?
Also another funny thing is that I think the DJ was also seen as someone you cannot touch because he's the one that keeps the party going.
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah, yeah.
don't even mess with that guy.
He's the untouchable. Dude, I remember times where, being a DJ, you were the king, dude.
Yeah.
Like, I remember, like, going to parties and, like, just being served drinks after drink.
Yeah.
They'd be catering almost, in a sense, you know what I mean? Hey,
Yeah.
we'll bring me food. Hey, we'll do this. Hey, we'll do that. And, like,
Oh man.
that was always pretty cool, man. I mean, the hospitality, I mean, the love, and all the respect, all the time, dude.
Yeah,
That was.
I mean, think about it. Coming from a perspective of someone else that wasn't a DJ, like I don't even know how that would even feel like, because obviously we've been
Right.
DJing for so long, but it's like this is our perspective. Like this is the way how we felt, is that
Right,
people
exactly,
cater to
exactly,
like making us happy and making sure we're taken care of
exactly.
because we're the ones making shit happen and like making shit popping.
Right. And when people wanted to hire a DJ, it was because they wanted to throw, a dope ass party.
Oh
Like,
yeah.
like I said, that time was just all house party, and that's like that was like a little status thing, like throwing a
Yeah.
house party at my house.
Yeah, I mean, think about it too, right? If it's someone like any of us that were like really doing it back then, if they were hiring one of us guys, like they know that this party was going to be popping because obviously we bring people in and we bring our crowds or whatever, and then it's just lit ass fucking event,
Exactly. That's exactly what it was. We'd have our crowds, but I mean, we'd also heavily promote all the time.
Oh yeah, back then I think I had that BlackBerry. It's one of those infamous
Yeah.
BlackBerry phones.
The BlackBerry Bold, right?
Yeah,
We'll keep that.
I think it's
Yeah.
Bold. Man,
Yeah.
I used to love that phone because I had groups set up for mass text. And I think it was like the party
Right.
group and whatnot.
Yeah,
And then I would
yeah,
just
yeah.
blast one text, and next thing you
Boom.
know, they're sending it to another million people or who knows how many people.
Right. You had like 50, and those 50 send it to to like another 50 each, right? And it just fucking just blew up. Yeah, man. Talking about that one party at that house that was under construction, that's pretty much how it all ran down. It went from like it was supposed to be originally at a warehouse
Yeah.
that ended up last minute getting canceled, and last minute sending out a text to this address to a house that's not even being done built
not even
up in the
ours.
hills. It's not even ours. Hey, little did I know that that was not the case because when I was going up there for the first time, because apparently everybody was kicking it in the house like throughout the week,
Mm-hmm.
and somebody had mentioned that they're like, oh yeah, this is like my aunt and uncle's house, so we're cool up here. Don't even worry about it.
They're just saying something to get us up there.
Exactly. But yeah, man, it is becoming like this huge raging party, dude. We had drew power from the power pole, the temporary power pole out in the street, ran it all the way down. I remember we put these Christmas lights leading down to the basement so nobody would trip and fall.
Oh my god.
Yeah,
Those are
man.
good
I mean, how many people? I mean, if you were to think about that again, like how many people do you think actually came through to that house?
Came through. What do you mean came through?
Like came to the house, like the party. Like how many people actually, received text of a party going on at this house?
I mean, I'm pretty sure a lot because the people we texted to is really the people that are consistent, right? With all the partying that we used to do.
Yeah, but I just remember how big the party had gotten because,
Oh, I see.
yeah, because I remember one of the other moments in the whole thing was that one of those Wild 949 party groups
Yeah.
when they used to mob around and they're like Suburbans or whatever with
Oh,
they
yeah.
ended up showing up to the house. And I remember
Oh,
as
man.
we were mixing and partying that, they were like, hey, let us jump on the mic. Let's jump on the mic. So we're like, yeah, go ahead. And right away, damn, they just started dropping, hey, this is Wild 949, blah, blah, blah. We're out here giving out tickets to this and that. And then, like,
it
it just
became a
like,
concert.
yeah, straight up, man. I mean, and we had like security. We had some vacant land across the street. So we had people directing traffic. Hey,
Oh,
everybody, pull up in this field. Pull up in the field. Find the parking. Everybody.
everybody got a job.
Yeah, no, really, man. And that's like,
Oh,
even
man.
though we were doing it just like for fun and maybe trying to get some sort of financial gain, but more it was just about being there and doing these things. A lot of people. I mean, it took a lot of people to put something like that together. I mean, everybody had to have a role. Everybody had to know what they had to be doing. And we took it pretty serious, man.
I think it was definitely more of us having a good time versus like trying to make money out of it because it was
For
really
sure.
just
I
that,
mean, we definitely did not make any money off of it.
Not
I mean,
really, not really that
no,
much.
not really. No, not
I
much
mean,
at all. I mean,
it,
I remember getting maybe like $100 or something a night or something,
well,
but
not even just that. I remember even just DJing for food or drinks. I don't know if you ever
yeah,
did that,
that
but
too. No, I did. Absolutely.
when you start, people were just like, "Bro, I'll feed you, I'll give you drinks," but I don't got no money.
Right.
I was like, "Fuck it, give me that."
I'll take it. I'll take it. Yeah. And right. And that's what we're saying, right? We got treated like kings at a sense, right? Because it was just like,
Yeah.
you got to keep the DJ happy, man. If you want that party to keep going. And usually those parties always stretched out, man. You'd get there by like 9 o'clock, start doing something by 10. You're ending it by like, if you were lucky enough to get by with no cops being called, 1,
Yeah.
about 1, always the latest. So I mean, those things. I mean,
Well,
yeah, man.
would you say that was your most memorable event that you DJ'd, or?
Most memorable.
I mean, I know there's a few, but
I think that was definitely one of the top. But I think when I got exposed to like larger crowds, like being on stage and being in front of like 1,000 people, that was pretty. That was pretty surreal.
how did that happen?
Right? I mean, that was when I was DJing with UGMX, and
Oh, okay.
I used to DJ for No ID.
Yeah.
I used to be their, yeah, I was their DJ. So I would be traveling with them, and obviously they were what would you say? They were youth rap group.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, right?
They're what can you say?
Well, because Big Mike, the way he was pushing it was more about a positive music, right? They didn't cuss. They weren't talking about drugs or anything like that, or hoes or bitches or nothing like that, right? It was more about on the positive note, but they still did a lot, try to hit a lot of mainstream of that music.
Yeah, I mean, at that time, wasn't that one song "So Mobby" really popular?
So Mobby, right? So
Who,
Mobby,
who was that from again? I can't remember his name, but there's one rapper. I think he was from. I'm pretty sure he was from the Bay Area. And,
yeah,
and
So Mobby.
I remember he was known for not cussing on most of his tracks. I think, if any, yeah,
Really?
yeah. Remember Soul Mobby? But
Mhm.
I don't remember the song, but
There you go. Yeah, I almost got it. You almost hit that.
I forget.
Young Bari.
Young Bari. There you go. That's,
Bari.
yeah.
So I remember it, but I don't like. I mean, I can't recall. So really, so he was known for not cussing on his music.
Yeah, if you hear that song, So Mobby, I think there's like no cuss words.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, that's pretty rare for artists based
Yeah, but
out of the Bay Area,
the
man.
crazy thing is that he would come to the open mics and he would perform and people would go crazy for that song.
I know, man. And talking about those open
If I'm not
mics, dude.
mistaken.
I mean, yeah. I mean, honestly, a lot of great artists from the Bay Area would definitely always meet up at UGMX when the open mics were going on.
Oh yeah. I think
It was like, I mean, that was something that like everybody knew about, man. Like there was
yeah.
like, if you were serious about doing music, you made your way over there,
Yeah. Man, that was such a dope spot. What Big Mike started out there. Just
right? I know,
bringing artists that were upcoming that wanted to get a shot. And they knew that there was always big people that would come through and listen or watch what's going on.
right?
So it was
Right?
definitely an
Yeah.
outlet.
I mean, it never failed, right? I mean, it never failed that some rapper. I mean, dude, Too Short been there. I mean,
Yeah,
E40. I mean,
yeah.
the list goes on of Bay Area artists. I mean, Keep the Sneak, Mr. Fab.
Yep.
Man,
Kafani,
yeah, Kafani,
Hood
Kafani. I mean,
Stars,
huge, man. And I think
uh,
that's where I met a lot of those guys. I mean, I had met them.
San Quinn.
Well, right, we had a lot of run-ins with like different Bay Area artists, like at different clubs,
Yeah,
different events, different venues. Like you said, we would be, collabing with like, these other promoters that were
yeah,
doing bigger events. As long as, at least as us DJs, right? Because like we would start meeting all these other dudes that are in these other crews and seeing what they're doing and just kind of clicking up, And it was just, dude, we had a huge networking ring going on with just the whole movement. And
yeah.
how we were touching on about like it was just like that at the cusp before it like actually blew up, and when it blew up was even crazier.
Man, I still remember the night that I DJ'd for D-Lo. You know when he released that NoHo.
Yeah,
And this is before they released the remastered version. Remember that?
I don't. So he had a remastered version. Was that like what was different from the original to that one?
So the original, he literally just recorded that in his closet, I believe he was telling us, and he obviously had to remaster it because he wanted to get a radio quality version to push it out.
Right, something cleaner.
But
Yeah.
it was just so crazy because at when he was performing that at the open mic, I believe it was just insane. Like when he first dropped that, man, it was just bananas. Just everybody was
Everybody
going
was feeling
crazy.
it right
Yeah,
away.
and
Everybody felt it right away.
and I've never heard that song, and I was like, "What the hell? What's this?" And
Dude,
everybody's
that
just
just
going crazy.
those drums in the beginning. Boom,
Yeah,
boom, boom.
but I just I didn't expect it. That's what I was thinking about. Like, what the fuck? Like, damn, they're going crazy with this. And then I just remember I have video. I still have video of that too. And
No way, that's
yeah,
sick,
I got
man.
some
So where
old
so
old.
where'd you DJ at for him?
This is at the UGMX with the big mic.
Was it?
Yeah,
Okay, dang.
he
I honestly I don't even remember on
I
that
don't.
one.
Yeah, I mean, he came through with his brother Sleepy D, and obviously the whole squad. The whole mob squad. I forgot what was the name of
Yeah.
the band, but everybody was out there, man. Everybody's going crazy, mania, and it was dope just to see that happen like in front of my eyes. And I remember
Right.
after that, I remember that it was the remastered versions, and then he dropped the remixes, which I think it was shot. Some of it was shot at the UGMX by 10th Street, I think, by
Really?
the second studio Mike had, I think.
Uh
Yeah,
wow. Huh.
Yeah.
Interesting. I didn't know that, man. I didn't know that. That's crazy. Yeah, but I mean, even talking about that, just 10th Street, right?
Yeah.
What was the other studio that was behind there? What was the other studio?
Oh, you know who was there too? Breezy, right?
Track. Yeah. Well, yeah, Breezy was on the backside. That's where they had their original shop, right? Like,
Yeah. That's the roots of Breezy Excursion right there.
yeah.
And
But there was a studio right next to Breezy too, which was Trax Million studio, wasn't it?
oh, you know what? It might have been. I don't remember too well because I don't think I went to that place too much. But I do remember that there was like a studio there, I think.
Yeah, there was a studio back there, which was a pretty good spot, man. I mean, that's where he created a lot of those big hit music that came out in that time. I mean, the list that he came out with was pretty fun. I mean, he all the way went to, what's her name, Brooke Hogan.
Brooke Hogan.
Brooke Hogan, right? That was Hulk Hogan's daughter.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Remember, he ended up making a remix for her.
Yeah.
Man, I heard that he made some big money on that song.
Man,
I heard he had made some big money on that song.
I mean, he's made hits like even So Hood and just a bunch
So
of
Hood.
Oh, didn't he made Super Hyphy, didn't he, for Kick the Snake?
Yeah, man. I mean, dude, the list of songs.
Yeah, he has a bunch.
That he,
heavy hitters.
Yeah, he did have a bunch of songs that he made that were. I don't know. Like he didn't make no like platinum hit or nothing, did he? Did he ever make any get any awards for any of his stuff? Dude, he came out with Super Hyphy, Grown Man Mix.
I'm pretty sure if it wasn't global, I think to us there were freaking medals. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, I know, right?
To us, it feels like Grammys.
Iconic, dude. Yeah, straight up.
Yeah, because that was our our hurt celebrities. You know, that's who we looked up to.
I know, and he was local too, dude. San Jose, out of Coventry,
homegrown.
Right, exactly, man, and that's like that was major. That was major, especially to see somebody from there. From San Jose make it, bro. Like that was like so encouraging to everybody else, you know.
You know who's another dope ass artist? I don't know if you heard of him, but I think he was a really dope part of being the San Jose hip hop culture is Ray Resurrection. You ever heard of him?
I've heard of him. Yes, yeah, I have.
Yeah,
I never really interacted with the guy or anything before, but I did always hear about him.
Yeah, no, he had some really good content. I think he produced a lot of his stuff, if I'm not mistaken. But I just remember he would always drop, singles and some dope ass music videos. Like they're freaking sick. Just every time he dropped something, like damn, shit's so dope. I think one was called Spaceships. That was one of my favorite tracks he had. I think it was by the same director that directed Tell Me When to Go, if I'm not mistaken. But it was
crazy.
It was really dope.
See, that was another part of it, the video production side.
Oh,
there was some,
Remember?
Man.
Do you remember Razor?
Razor.
He was a famous director that would work with Mike.
I think so. Was he like a Filipino cat?
I don't think he was Filipino. I think.
Was he Asian?
I think it, and I don't want to. Hopefully, I don't say this the wrong way, but I think he might have been from Pakistan or Afghanistan or somewhere over there.
Middle Eastern,
I think. But yeah, bro.
My Afghan homies. Yeah,
no, he was getting down.
Hey, there's some crazy ass Afghans out here, dog.
Well, yeah,
you know where they're at. They're all in the East Bay, dude. They're all in the East Bay, man.
No, but it's that melting pot. It's out here. You come from wherever you're coming, and you land here. It's like it all gets melted and infused together, and you're just one big.
But then there was But there was the one thing with the music that just brought everybody together, no matter where the hell you were coming from. Like you said, like the Bay Area is just such a huge melting pot of like different cultures, a lot of immigrants coming from different places around the world.
Oh yeah, definitely. Like I could even tell you that the sideshows was another big thing that would bring people together, even though it wasn't the most legal thing to do. But it was all just pile up and do, freaking donuts and just do whatever the hell you want to do. Just basically party out there in the streets. Just
Right. I know.
being
Not
wild.
like today. Like nowadays, these people out here going crazy, man. They'll be out in the middle of the freeway. They'll be closing down intersections. At least, like, I remember when we were doing it, it'd always be like late at night.
Yeah.
Like it'd be like in these like random streets.
Yeah.
Like abandoned. So
Yeah.
we would be going all night, man. Nowadays they're out there wilding, dude. They don't even give a damn where they're doing it.
Yeah. I mean, I honestly don't even know how it is now, like as far as a party scene, because I obviously
Well,
don't
yeah, I
do
don't know.
any more house parties, but I do remember just the way that it was for us growing up. I mean, it was just fucking fun, man. I just can't get over it.
Memorable,
How dope
right?
it
I
was.
know. Sometimes well, for a long time, I probably like, uh, not forgotten, but just maybe just kind of put those memories in the past, man. And like, so many years had gone by that like I didn't even like remember those times until like I would see friends again that were like busting out their turntables, or they're still mixing, and like those moments where it just kind of like would like bring that memory right back. And hard to believe that, like, man, we actually, for being young and hungry to establish ourselves, we made something of ourselves, man. To be honest, we did. Where a lot of people, maybe didn't, or maybe didn't accomplish it. I feel like me, you, and a bunch of other guys that we were all like working together and building off each other. We definitely went pretty fucking far, man. I
Yeah, it
mean,
was it was a fun moment in DJing. There's
yeah,
one thing I had in mind. I wanted to ask you. What the hell was it? Oh yeah. So if there was one thing that you wanted to change or do differently, what do you think that would be? Going back to your DJ days, and you don't have to be, you don't have to put anything out that you don't want to,
yeah,
but
yeah, yeah. That's a good question. Well, I mean, I think there's a lot of things that I would say that if I would have probably taken it different, maybe taken it more serious.
yeah,
I think that was my biggest downfall. I think I was having way too much fun with it that I maybe might have not seen the bigger picture of it.
yeah,
I
yeah,
think that's pretty much it.
yeah. Because
I think it
it's hard to even name, right, like any of the DJs that we know back then that are still doing it, right?
right. I think one of the guys that like I remember like he was young too was Espinosa, DJ
Oh
Espinosa,
yeah,
man.
yeah,
He was out there doing it too, and that was like right around the time before he became like well at the time what was it 94.9? 94.9 was still like not just doing the top 40 music, but it was like still doing like hip hop and rap and stuff like
yeah,
that. So it was still like
yeah. But
current
he
music
he
like
he
came in.
was he was still up there though, right? Like when we were,
Oh yeah,
yeah,
man. I don't
he
know.
was,
I don't even know where he came from or who he was. Like
yeah,
that dude just had mad skills, dog. Like
yeah,
mad skills. I mean,
yeah. He was
his
dope.
scratching abilities, his music selection, his
Yeah,
blending, his creativity of like how to like. Yeah, it
yeah.
was off the charts, and
He's definitely one of our best from out here, from the Bay.
still holding down. Is he still out here?
I mean, from what I see, I think I mean, before the Corona stuff, I think he's been all over the place, right? He's been traveling, doing a bunch of clubs, and I'm not sure where
Well,
was his
that
residency, if he had one or not.
yeah. Well, I think that's like that's the ultimate goal for a DJ, right? Is being able to travel and kind of establish these residencies or something, right?
Yeah,
I think that's the end goal. Is that
yeah.
end goal? I mean, can that be end goal?
Well, it depends, right? I mean, look at also DJs like DJ Craze, which is one of my other favorite DJs. I
Hmm.
mean, this guy. I mean, I'm sure this guy's been all over the place, but at the end of the day, he does what he wants. And I always see video. I used to see a lot of videos of him on YouTube promoting. I think what was that? What other software? The other DJ software versus that was against Serato or Rain or
Serato?
whatever. There's another one. He is a Tractor. I think he was using Tractor, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah,
There was that, and there was like a virtual DJ one too.
Yeah, but that wasn't too. I don't think that was. I mean, yeah, I guess there was DJs using that, but
There was some DJs for sure using that.
But
yeah,
I think
I remember.
I think it's funny because I think people that use virtual DJ are like the people that started with the Newmark Battle Pack. Like per se, that's like the equivalent. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. Right. Like, exactly.
If anything,
it's like when,
started with
like
that.
If like a well-established DJ would like, or not well-established, just somebody that's just more into it would see that and like that setup, and they'll be like, "Oh, okay, no, that's your first turntable setup, huh?" I remember my first one, right?
Exactly. Yeah,
everybody started with that one.
I used it. I used it a few times. I wasn't a huge fan of it, but I used it, and I still.
What was it? It was a belt drive. Those were belt driven.
Well, let me tell you a little story, bro, because if we're getting to that area of the DJ history, I'll tell you, bro. The first time.
Let me hear it.
Let me see. Which one should I tell you? I have a story of when I first got introduced to Serato. And this is when I had I think it was the Battle Pack Newmark turntables that I used to have. I think they were belt drive or direct drive. I can't remember which one. I think those were direct drive, the Battle Pack.
Were they? I think they were actually belt driven, because I remember that was one of the bigger issues with it, especially when you were trying to mix or scratch or whatever, is when you would tap on that table, that needle would always jump.
Yeah. Maybe it was. I can't recall. But anyways, the point is that I remember going to Dynamic Sounds. I don't know if you've been there, or I'm pretty sure you've been there. And
that place don't exist no more, does it?
I don't even know, bro. I used to go there all the time, right? And I used to, dig through the records that they had, and just to look at what they had. And I still remember this like it was yesterday. And so I'm looking through the stuff, and I think it was Gilbert, the person that sold me the Serato, or someone else. So he's like, "Bro, have you heard about this?" And I'm just like, "What?" This new technology. It's a Serato. It's you could use your own laptop, put your own music in there, and then play it on the vinyl, like it's it's a record. I'm like, "What, really?" And I was just like, and at that time, I think I had just got my tax refund. So I think I might have had like, I don't know, $800, $900 or something like that.
Like $1,000 or something, right?
And then, bro, and I kid you not, like I did not plan to spend that much money that day, but he sold me on it. He's like, bro, you're gonna be one of the first guys in San Jose to have this if you buy it right now. I'm like, what the fuck, really? I couldn't believe it. I was like, it sounds too good to be true. I was like, fuck it, you know what? I'm gonna buy it. And I think at that time was like maybe $700-800, I believe, for like that SL1.
SL1,
yeah. And I said, fuck it, and I got him. And ever since that, bro, everything just went out the window.
Transformed it, right? It went straight to everything digital.
Yeah,
everything digital.
It just got rid of all my headaches of carrying all these crates, and it was a whole different world, bro. It was amazing.
You're right. I remember that. Well, yeah, like it was a lot of work, man. I mean, a lot of logistics for sure, because you had to load up all these crates that were like, what about like 50 pounds, 40 pounds full?
Definitely, and we had to have at least 2-3 crates to have like a decent little like repertoire of music.
Minimum.
Because every side was what, 3-4 songs, something like that.
It was about 3-4 songs. Yeah. Sometimes you just get a remix or multiple of the same song.
Yeah.
You get a little instrumental in one, a little acapella in another. But what was cool at that time, like that, was like you were able to be more creative with music, right? Like where you were able to like, and you wouldn't know exactly where all your records were at, man. You would be digging it. You're like, oh,
Yeah.
Boom, couple out, bam, 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 bam. Okay, here's this guy, boom. Turn that bad boy sideways, have it sticking out.
Yeah, you know
Look for
what?
a little good spot.
Yeah, you know what's funny about what you just said right now is that it did kind of make you appreciate a little more like what you had in your library. Like you would only have the stuff that you would only play, that you would want to play.
Right.
I don't think you ever had shit that was like not that great. Like it had to be pretty good if you had it in your crates.
I know you have to really conserve the weight, man.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, right. I'm not gonna take those extra records. That's gonna start weighing me down.
Yeah,
Yeah, well, I mean, yeah, like you said, man, when Serato came out, and that little movement started going on. I mean, just being able to eliminate all that, just being able to reduce it down to a laptop.
and I remember you had, or who was it? Echo had turntables, right? Vinyl,
Right,
and then
right.
and then didn't you buy like CDJs or Pioneers?
I had the Pioneers, the 1000,
Yeah,
and I think those like the MK 1000s or something like that.
yeah, because I remember you came to my studio once and you started to do like some mixes, right, or mixtapes or something.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember like, oh shit, this guy got some dope ass gear. Hell yeah.
Man, and same thing, dude. I was kind of working, and I had some like a little bit of money saved up, and I had my taxes and stuff like that, and I freaking ended up diving into it, and I think yeah, like from my memory, I think I was the only guy that had them.
How much was that when you paid for all that?
I mean, you're talking about like, I think about 15 to like $1,700 a piece. So I mean, I ended up paying about almost money. $3,000. Hell yeah! Just and those are just for the CDJs. I didn't even, that was not including the mixer.
Yeah.
Which that boils down to some more money too, man. Depending on the brand and style.
Whatever happened to that? Did you just sell them off because you stopped doing
the CDJs? Yeah, you know what? I ended up running into some issue with the internal lasers that ended up being super pricey, and one ended up breaking down on me. It cost me like $800 to order the part and get it installed because it was like some super fragile, sophisticated part of the CDJ. Had to go directly to a Pioneer distributor, which I mean, to find one that actually did that was not that easy.
Yeah,
I think it took a while to find that, but that issue happened, and then a couple months later, the second one ended up having the same problem. So I ended up fixing it, but then I was like telling myself, I'm like, if I keep doing this, I was like, I don't know if I want to keep forking out that much more money to maintain them, and I ended up selling them, and I ended up actually going back to vinyl, and that's when I picked up my last set, which was the Technique, the 1200.
These are the ones you have now, right? And
these are the ones I have now. Yeah, I mean, to like say off the top of my head, I think I don't even know exactly when they were manufactured, but I know that they were the older style for sure. They were like, I don't know, maybe the 90s, maybe late 90s version. And I didn't have them no more, but I had those original those plastic covers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, I miss my tables too. I had the all black MK5s, I think.
Yeah. Oh, man. those are the top of the line. Those are the next ones up.
Those are my babies, bro. And I had that paired up with the Rain 56S, I think, or something like that. It was like 2-channel.
Yeah.
Yeah, was
that with Serato built in, or?
Nah, this is the one with I think I had the SL2 or something like that, like after the SL1 or whatever.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I got the box, and then I used to hook it up to that one, and it was like my go-to setup because it was all black. I used to love it because it was all black.
Sick.
And I had that.
I know. Once you get a little cool setup, dude. I mean, man, that was pretty sick. I mean, but you know what it is? It's the electronics, dude. You know what I mean? It's like having like some sick electronics, and you're like, man, I get to play with this stuff. This is sick.
Well, yeah, it's like we find it really, really fun just to play with, with our hands, and then to know that this stuff creates a mix. Like I don't know, it's just like a whole different world. Like we could play with our hands,
right?
have fun, and then
Playing,
and it makes people
manipulating the
dance.
sound,
Yeah, and it
right?
makes people
Manipulating
dance.
the sound,
And it
making
was
it sound cool.
yeah, it is, and it's crazy just the way that we would always prepare music, and we would always know like two, three, four songs ahead, that we were gonna
Of
play
what we're gonna play, yeah.
because that's the way we
Well,
think,
I
right?
remember a lot of, yeah, right. I
Yeah.
mean, I remember I like me personally. I would always have these like I would always be listening to music, and like when I'd be listening to music and current hits and stuff like that,
Yeah.
I'd always just be thinking, what would pair with this song up perfectly. And
Yeah.
there was this one DJ in Morgan Hill. That's when we remember Club Remix.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Okay, so there was a DJ. He was on the 21 and over side, the bar side, right? And
Yeah.
he was the first guy that I got exposed to where he was actually using two separate songs, but like juggling them and he was not necessarily scratching, but moving his hands and spinning the record back, right? And catching the loop of that same verse. And it was I Get Money mixed with, what was the
The
other song?
the 50 Cent track.
Yeah. Well, yeah. So
Money I
I
got.
Get Money,
Money I
right? And then
got.
he mixed it with another song that talked about money as well. I can't even remember it right now. That's how bad my memory is, dude. But
I mean, there's a lot of songs that talk about money, but
yeah, exactly. But it was just one of those songs. It was like a mainstream song, but it was just like the way he looped it. It was just like I get money, 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 money. Like it was just like the way he looped, and it
yeah.
kind of like bounced back, right? Boom, 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 and like he was on repeat, and he was spinning those records back because that dude was not into Serato. He was more about straight vinyl.
That's
So
dope.
yeah, man. I mean, that guy blew me away when I heard that, and and from that day forward, every time I'd go home and hang out with my turntables and stuff,
Yeah.
I would always pop those two songs on, and I'd always just try to replicate what he did that night. And I'm like, I hit it a couple times, and it was pretty dope, man. But I never dared myself to do it in public, but
Bro, I used to do the same thing for I think Echo did this once where he was looping, remember that song Muscle Cars?
yeah,
Where he goes
boom, 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 right.
I think he's the first person I heard that looped that section, and I remember that I would try to do that at parties, and I was obviously it sounded dope because then you mix something in there, it's like a little breakbeat.
Exactly. You create your own little breaks, right? That
Yeah.
was the yeah.
And
That was the cool part.
it's
Well,
so
when you started being able to queue up, right? Queue it up.
yeah, cue it up, but it's so dope because everybody has their own way of mixing, and like they find little things in the records that you would have never thought that would sound good if you even looped it or anything else.
Right. And well, I guess that was always the best part, man. Just
Yeah.
being able to create it, and like go from your room or your studio or wherever we were at, always end up at, right? Always practicing and just going for practicing and practicing
Yeah.
to like action and hitting the party or doing whatever it was.
Hell yeah. That's good times.
Definitely a lot of good times, man.
Damn. So many good
But
times.
now we're older. Now we're not part of the scene anymore, and it's like now all we can
Not
do
at
is just
all.
talk about.
Not at all. Now we have to
Do you
work.
find it depressing a little bit sometimes, or
Honestly,
nostalgic?
honestly, I don't find it that depressing because I think we lived a good life, growing up.
Right, right.
I mean, think about it. How many parties did we create? How many parties did we start? How many
Mm,
occasions? And this is something I think about all the time. Let me tell you something. Is that as DJs, we probably don't think about this, but I think about it a lot. But think about all the people that met each other the times that we DJ. Like for example, people that became girlfriend boyfriend, at a party, and
right.
who knows, maybe they got married 5 years ago, and it was because they met at the party we DJed at,
At
and
the
we played
party.
the good music that they wanted to listen to. Like I always think
Yeah,
about shit like that because I'm like, who
That's
knows how
crazy.
many families we started just by playing good music. You know?
So you're saying you had a direct effect on that?
Yeah, come on, think about
Yeah,
it.
no, I hear
Who
you.
else could say they done that for couples? Like, I mean, we're the people that
Right. I mean,
started that stuff, you know?
I know, and to think like, I mean, that's what everybody was doing at the time, right? Like everybody was going out to these parties. Hey, I'll meet you out at this party tonight. All right,
Yeah,
come through. I'll
yeah,
see you.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. You
I
would,
mean,
you hit up shorty like someone you met, like, yo, come through. I'm gonna
I
be
got this party.
DJing and bring your
Yeah.
girls, you know, and then I'll bring my guys, whatever, and shit. Next thing you know, everybody's hooking up and whatever. It was good times.
Yeah, man. That's crazy. I honestly, I never even thought about that. That's funny that the perspective, but it makes
I always
sense,
think
dude. It
about
makes
it.
sense.
I always think about that. That's why, like I said, I don't think I feel bad that, you know, we don't do it no more, because if anything, we made so many other memories for other people. It was a
Yeah.
lot more fulfilling than just saying that we partied.
Right. Yeah, that's true. It wasn't just the partying. It was more. Yeah, it was more like it was definitely a bigger thing.
Yeah,
It was definitely a bigger thing than all of us.
yeah, that's dope.
We were
Well,
just along for the ride.
yes, sir. So it looks like we've hit 1 hour. How do you feel?
Uh, Relief.
Relieved?
I made it through.
Nice. This is our first podcast from Teal Grit. I definitely want to keep doing these and bring on all my friends from back in the days and even people I work with now. And it's all just kind of a focus of, you know, music and culture and hip hop, anything that was, you know, music or anything that kind of lane, I think, is what I'm trying to bring onto this Teal Grit podcast. And of course, anything that sounds interesting as well. So
Right.
if you want to say any last words or if you want to plug it with some info or anything, you know.
Well, no plugging in yet. I mean, I definitely have strayed away from the music industry, and I mean, I've gotten myself into another venture of, you know, doing general contracting and stuff like that. But no, not yet, not yet.
but
It'll be to be determined. I mean, to be announced.
can we
It'll be,
expect any DJing from Hyph anytime soon or what?
you know, maybe
Yeah.
if the time comes, you know. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm always up for it. Anytime I get a chance to put my hands on some records, I always do. So
I mean, if anything, the time is now, right? Because we're not leaving the house.
yeah, that's true. I know, but I would have, yeah, I got to pull them out, dust off
Yeah.
the dust off them records. Oh no, not even records, man. I just got to dust off the turntable, and I would have to
Man.
sweat.
Well,
You'd be the man, dude. We'll have to link up, dude, and see what we can get together.
we will. So, yeah, that was our first episode. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Follow me at DJ Live 408. And I don't know if you have any handles you want to shout out, or maybe
No,
you're out of it.
not yet.
Out of the
Yeah,
game.
not yet.
All right.
Not yet, man. I'm on the building process right now. So.
Well, maybe soon you guys will hear about DJ Hyph. Thank you for joining for the first podcast, and I'll see you guys to the next time.
Later.
Late.